Red Blood. Where It Ends. Written, directed, and narrated by Quade Krulik. Production by Trey Falco. Featuring Brian Carpenter, Stella Detta, and Trey Falco. My name is Jonathan, and life is chaos. I used to be on my way to be one of the most successful and charismatic men in the game. You name it, I could do it. My former employer, now deceased unfortunately, gave me plenty of opportunity to facilitate my addiction. See, despite how much dope I used to run, the kind of thing has never been mine. The rush of running it, that's what my fix was. Killing people for my boss, Alexei, stealing for an old friend, Lenny. I got more satisfaction than I could ever get from snorting lines. But like with any kind of addiction, it got me into trouble. 2 years ago, Lenny had me and two other guys rob a Chinese freighter. We thought we were ripping off a crate of guns. Instead, we found a bin full of priceless diamonds. The diamonds were payment to fund one amateur warlord to conquer another one. We took them, and we pissed off the Illuminati, or whatever the hell it actually is called. I haven't spoken with all my known contacts since then. My parents didn't make it. I tried going home last year. The house was scrubbed clean. No stains. Not just blood stains, but everything. Old food stains on the tile. Living room mold from the 70s. It's been a hard thing to accept, but they're definitely gone. No trace of them. I've tried to talk to Lenny, but even if he isn't dead, he won't talk to me. Unless, of course, he wants to. Right now, I'm sitting on a nice lawn chair in the middle of a shack, eating cooked beans and rice. Right in the middle of Sao Paulo, Brazil, under a false name. Abraham Feinstein. Wasn't my choice of name, but a Jew in the Southern Hemisphere should fit right in, despite the lack of menorah and metal Star of David necklace. I have passed well as a Jew here. I've been on my laptop reading CNN articles, BBC articles, and MSNBC reports in international news, trying to find clues and things that look like the secret organization controlling things from the air. My home is one of 5. Don't be impressed. None of them are a high-rise apartment or 10-room house. They're just shacks. Hell, they aspire to be shacks. They blend in together. 3 are in favelas scattered around Rio, and the other 2 in Sao Paulo. I traveled between them to try and keep those suits from tracking me. This is the worst part. I know who got me into this. I've always had an addiction. I just can't stop myself from chasing that adrenaline, the fight, the kills, the money. God, receiving the money was more fun than actually spending it. I used to log on to my various bank accounts and just look at the amount in them, reminiscing on all the jobs that got them to that point. Now I just check them to make sure I have enough to pay for equipment or weapons. This sucks. I have been wanting to get this fix for 2 years. I snorted as much Colombian coke as my nose will take. And I stole a pen at the bank the other day. Pathetic. Speaking of the bank, I go to the bank that has an account. I withdraw cash that keeps the location on the withdrawals a secret. It's an escrow that the bank doesn't mind letting me be all 3 parties involved, which is fortunate because it helps keeps things anonymous. I need the money to try and maintain my internet and buy more hardware. Right now, I'm in about my third property. It's kind of a relay station of sorts that I use to try to track communication, discover clues, read dark web forums about the freaking Illuminati, anything that could lead me to find the organization that is tracking me. Going to the markets isn't great because I'm always scared that I'll see someone who doesn't look poor. That'll be the suit that finds me. I'll start a gang war right here and now to cover my ass, but it isn't all bad. The fresh fruit, the fish, and the meats are better here in the favelas than anywhere else in the world. There's only one market I go to. It isn't smart to do that, but it serves a purpose. Hey.
Hey, man. Nice day.
Yeah. Not too bad. So, heard any good stories recently?
Heard that a couple gringos in black suits asking questions in Rio.
Shit. Have they found me? The walk back home, I thought about moving, but maybe I'm jumping to conclusions. It was in Rio. Sao Paulo should be fine.
Hey, gringo!
It wouldn't be that big of a deal. Sao Paulo, I have weapons, and I can at least give myself some time and cover to get away.
What are you doing here?
Oh, for fuck's sake. And there it goes again. I do it again. Could have just talked to the guy. Could have just bought the drugs. Maybe even just gotten robbed. It's not like I don't have the money to pay, but I shoot him in the head. Of course I shoot him in the head. His friends are fast, and it doesn't take too long. I start to run up the stairs, leading to the top of the favela, close to the forest on the edge of the city, like gunfire rockets behind me. I duck to the left, hearing the bullets clam against the metal and concrete. When I turn into the alley, I turn back for a second and shoot around into a thug who follows me into the alleyway. His face tightens. He doesn't die, but he takes care of him till I turn. I hear the bullets zip by my head. I looked back and I can't even see them anymore, but I still hear the gunfire after a few more minutes. None of them are even at me anymore. I think they're just shooting. And again, another mess I could have prevented. But it's just the same thing. Shooting that guy in the head, I knew what would happen. I knew he wasn't alone, but I had to kill him. I would start that fight, killing and running. It felt great. The high was more important than surviving, but something hurts. Great. My leg has been shot. I couldn't even tell. The rush, God, it felt so good. I don't even know when I got hit. I was running normal up until now. I can't even walk right now. God. The only thing I can think of now is the suits will hear about the gunfight. It may be time to switch back to Rio, even if they're there like the rumor said. Maybe the last place they'll suspect is right under their noses. Walking into my home, the door opens and 3 suits are already standing in my humble shack. How did you find me?
Does it matter?
It does to me.
You shut up gangland and didn't expect us to find out it was you.
That was 2 hours ago.
Ah, thank you. We aim to please.
Okay, I've already had my dumb move for today, but I'm gonna go for 2. They draw their guns after I put 2 bullets in the boss, or at least the guy who was talking. They must not want me dead. They had the opportunity, but just didn't take it. Maybe they saw the hole in my leg and assumed it wouldn't be sporting enough. I ran for hours, and it never seemed to be like the suits were behind me, but I could never tell if they were behind me or not. I got to my stash truck and drove to my stash of cash and passports. Leaving for the airports is next, but Rio first. I need to get to my property that has all the relays. Driving as close to it as possible was a joke. The favelas have terrible roads. I run as best as I can with a hole in it. It's been a great day. Another hour of walking. Maybe I should just let them take me. The relay needs to be trashed. I begin pouring gasoline all over the servers. I pull out my lighter as soon as I hear a bing on the screen. The notification just says one thing. From L. Lenny pulling through all over again. It was an address. Clicking the link showed me a warehouse in Japan. I never had business there, much less Japan of all places. But it was the only lead I had. I set everything on fire and drove to the airport after I patched up my leg. Flight to New York, Paris, Moscow, Los Angeles, and then finally Tokyo, Japan. And a 4-hour Uber ride to a small city that had the warehouse. Another Uber to keep my leg from getting too sore. The warehouse wasn't pretty. It just looked abandoned. Maybe it was just the suits. Maybe they got to Lenny and they were just screwing with me now. Couldn't hurt to at least look around. The inside was just as run down as the outside, except for some beeping. It keeps coming from the office. The place is abandoned, but it has a working office. Maybe Lenny does never fail. I walked across the warehouse, and the computer looked like something from 1992. But it still keeps beeping. Why would a computer just keep beeping? The office was unlocked. It felt irresponsible, even if this is a big nothing. You'd think the kingmakers of the world would know how to lock a door. The computer just had a constantly flickering of code and flashing on screen automatically. Looked like someone was typing as fast as humanly possible, all sorts of source codes into the computer. I leaned in, trying to figure out what it was doing. God, I wish Lenny was here. He'd have this thing cracked in seconds. I was startled by the screen shattering and a cracking of the air behind me. It only took a second for me to see the bullet hole in the computer screen. I turned and drew my gun to the suit with the suppressed pistol behind me, but I couldn't shoot him. He had a shot on me. I dived behind the servers, and I was blinded by the sparks and the flashing of the bullet from the suit's gun. I tried to crawl out of the way, but I was blocked by the wall. Only one way for me to get out, and that's back around the servers the way I jumped. A few more shots through the servers. Way too soon for me to get shot again. Do not want that to happen. 2 more shots, and I heard him reloading. I jumped out again, and I barely had a second before his slide was released and a bullet was ready to quietly go through my head. 2 shots into his body. He fell down, but I have no idea if they were lethal. I stood up, keeping my gun on him. Wasn't a few seconds later that he was scrounging and moaning in the pool of blood coming out of him. Black blood. I hit his liver. He won't die soon, but he is definitely a goner. Hey, what is this place? Tell me. You feel that? I'll pull out your guts if you don't talk.
Mumbai! That's where our eastern cell is. I'll see you in hell.
He didn't need to talk anymore. Mumbai. God, it really does smell bad here. But it is 3 times as good to hide here than Brazil was. Next time, I guess. Okay, I have the city, but where do I start? This is one of the most populated, overpopulated cities on the planet. Not like it'll be obvious. Then again, there is a building under construction for a Bollywood movie producer. That seems self-entitled enough to be Illuminati. Can it really be that obvious? Yeah, it was that obvious. The security, and you could see the suits through the windows. It had to be the place. Sneaking in wasn't too hard. The construction really helped. A quick disguise helped me walk right in. The top floors I had to kinda sneak around just in case the crew wasn't allowed up or the suits recognized me from some kind of Illuminati wanted poster. It wasn't hard to find the office of the head producer. It had the most flashy artwork. His computer's password was password in all caps. Seriously, password. And no locked doors. If this is our secret organizations, then maybe the human race really isn't worth saving. I found a folder called Money Relay. It was everything. Bank accounts, how much was in them, property deeds, technology patents. It had links to other files that told plans on how disasters and wars were going to be orchestrated, and the patents on weapons, medicine, and software on how they would make not billions, trillions. It was all here. Names, companies, the works. It was all here. One email, and it could all be unveiled.
What could all be revealed, Jonathan?
I got so engrossed that I failed to realize that 3 suits had snuck up behind me. Nothing. Who is Jonathan? My name is... I looked down and realized the name tag on the disguise I stole was named Jonathan.
We know who you are. Jonathan, you don't have to do this. You can walk away.
I've stolen diamonds, killed your agents, and you expect me to believe that you'll just let me walk away?
Jonathan, please, that was nothing. You are a pest among all of our other concerns, as you have clearly seen. Jonathan, you can just go home.
To my parents. I haven't seen them in years.
Oh no. We went to them to ask them questions, and they, well...
Oh, right. I see.
Sorry.
I knew my parents were dead, but the confirmation of it made me sick to my stomach. The last they heard of me was getting on a plane to work for Russians in another country. I was still a teenager when they knew me. It feels weird knowing they're just dead. In my head, I already saw myself killing this guy. It wouldn't be hard. I have a quick-release holster, and even if this guy had a gun, he wouldn't be able to get it in time. His 2 lackeys wouldn't be able to make it either. But what is my way out here? What do I do if I shoot my way out of here? Do I just start shooting? Where does it end? I've had money. I've had women. I've never had a family. I've never had a home. I never really worked a normal job. Always told myself doing this was better because I had my freedom. But all I did was what Lenny or Alexei told me to do. Not much than a manager telling me to call some jerk-off client. What was the point of stopping them? It gave me nothing. They didn't owe me anything. They killed my parents, but how many parents have I killed for the job? This was business. Couldn't take it personal. I wanted to kill them, the same reason I signed up for moving drugs with Gold Diamond, killing for Seraph Alexei, or stealing for Lenny. All I've done is crime. I loved the feeling of it. I've been hooked on it. I just don't know why I'm doing nothing noble. I just know that it has felt amazing being chased. But I don't want to do this anymore.
Jonathan, we need an answer.
Okay. Let me go, and I'll call this all quits. I'll forget about all of it.
Can we trust you?
Yeah. Just unfreeze all my bank accounts I didn't get to. I'll go back to my parents' home, and I'll just stop.
All right, that'll be fine. We'll know where you are. You play nice. We'll just forget you existed.
It's been 4 years since that day in Mumbai. I have a wife. She isn't hot, but she isn't too bad either. She's fine, I guess. I have a kid. She's small. I'm working some piss-off job as a sales rep for some paper company. It's fine, but it's really just for extra money, since I have so much of it. I just got home from the gun store. I bought my first legal gun. It's a .38 special revolver. Nothing amazing. Just something to keep on me, to feel safe.
Honey, your old friend from college is here.
College? I didn't go to... It's a suit. The suit. From Mumbai.
Hello, Jonathan.
Jonathan? David, who is this guy?
My wife knows me as David. Shit. What is this guy doing here? The gun is in its case, in my hand. I'll just do nothing and get this guy out of here. He just wants to double check I'm behaving myself. Then again, it would feel really, really good to start this all over again. But that's not what I want. Normal life or killing again. Whichever one I am. The gun is already in my hand. Now, do I pull the trigger? Red blood. Where it ends. Written, directed, and narrated by Quade Krulik. Production by Trey Falco. Featuring Brian Carpenter, Stella Detta, and Trey Falco.